Hey, out there in the crypto world, DeFi, IoT. Look, I've been meaning to get a video out over the weekend, but we've been doing a lot of work on our property, trying to get ready to sell this thing. We're having some difficulty. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about today about, go back into this AMA and PlanetWatch. And I want to talk a little more about this as we did 2 weeks ago. And some things people have messaged us on our channel here that I think we need to clarify. And it's really important that you really understand certain details of how business functions and what yellow and red flags to watch out for in PlanetWatch at this moment right now. And this isn't FUD, this is truth. So let's talk about that and what the difference is between FUD and truth. We need to get into that right now. Let's talk a little about that. All right, look, I'm driving today, so I gotta watch the road. And I mean, this is the only time I have an hour and a half commute to where I'm going to the investment property, an hour and a half commute coming back. And I just haven't had any time to actually sit down and record. I had a lot of things on my mind, I had problems with the camera. Anyway, in this last AMA, I saw some things that really confirmed what I'm suspecting. Let's understand something. When we're in business, and I mentioned this before, so I'm just going to mention it in brief. When we're in business and when we are running a business, especially something we plan on taking on an international level, you don't just have a mission, an idea, and a vision. In other words, an idea and a basic, hey, you know, here's our idea, and here's how we're going to achieve our idea, and go into business. And then live day by day trying to figure out how to implement both that mission and that vision, that end idea, right? The end idea and the end, I guess you could call it a goal if you would, but a goal is really only an idea that has a plan and a date underlying it, right? That gives it a foundation. That's called a business plan. When you put those dates and those marching orders or directives with a date and a way to measure your success, that's a business plan. And when you read a white paper is nothing more than really a mission and a vision. And very few white papers in crypto world have a business plan included. And you know, for some reasons, because if they put a business plan in it, then the Securities and Exchange Commission could actually then say, well, these are more public type of businesses because they're allowing people to buy in on their tokens, if you will, which is another way of buying shares. And so there's that qualification that could cause a lot of paper filing, a lot of KYC, which PlanetWatch already does. I mean, PlanetWatch does everything for the government when it comes to having shareholders like ourselves who are owners of the token or owners of devices that create the infrastructure of PlanetWatch, right? But they don't do anything that's going to cause them more risk or paperwork or headache. In other words, file with the SEC and become that public company. But if they do, then there's also going to be legal ramifications that we, as the people who invest and buy into the infrastructure, like we buy the devices, the type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4 devices, we then have more legal ramifications to be able to pursue against PlanetWatch. So that's not beneficial for PlanetWatch. So we understand that part of business. So PlanetWatch is looking out for PlanetWatch, which I guess at the end of the day, you have to look out for your derriere to exist so that you can then pay the people that you're promising to pay that have bought into and developed your infrastructure, right? First of all, let's go into what PlanetWatch, what Claudio was celebrating. And we have to understand this, that he's celebrating a small victory for type 1 type sensors of a company that's going to buy type 1 data. It's outdoor data, by the way, not indoor, like type 4, right? Type 3 and type 4 are indoor data. So they have a company that's going to buy type 1 data. And celebrating that milestone. But even he afterwards says that, okay, it's small, but it's something. And the fact that they're celebrating such a small victory tells me that they're actually really concerned that they're not going to be able to fulfill their vision. Right? They're not going to fulfill what their overall objective and mission is. I've always stated the fact that there are entities out there, NGOs, these non-government organizations like the World Economic Forum, and in governments, as well as insurance companies, that will come around when they're saturated enough, will come around to buy this data. And I'm pretty sure of that, only because of my experience in my studies and what we know is going on out there in the world right now, especially behind the World Economic Forum and what their agenda is. It's agenda driven. So I think that there's going to be an end user client. I don't know how safe that's going to be for the people that are providing the data. In other words, where those devices are located, because PlanetWatch has done everything to be able to track back to the actual home, and even owners of the device, at least, to be able to know, identify then that environmental data with that person. And with the idea of credit scores coming out, like in China, you have these social credit scores where we're going to get privileges based on our social credit score. And this is not a joke, by the way. This is what's being implemented, or what's trying to be implemented. And China already does this. Now, these social credit scores, very, very easily, PlanetWatch can climb in bed, so to speak, professionally speaking, with the governments and insurance companies that will then issue part of the social credit score. And this social credit score functions kind of like your credit score does for your credit with the bank or credit cards. And it will have a reflection on where you are strong, where you're weak, and you'll be given social privileges, whether you get a passport, whether you can travel, whether you can leave your city, whatever, based on your contamination input. In other words, based on your footprint. So don't think there's no place to go there, because we already know that this whole carbon offsetting and the carbon footprint idea is already something now that's being used. I mean, look at Tesla. Tesla makes more money selling their carbon credits for all their planet, their clean planet, clean air bonuses they get from the government in different type of organizations. They sell those to other businesses that then buy them, and they use them to then offset their pollution. So really, we're not offsetting any pollution. It's just about money. So can that then trickle down into the devices that PlanetWatch also provides? Yeah, I see a viability there, and I see that being the more practical area, and I always have seen in that with PlanetWatch. But in the meantime, we're going to have these hiccups, and maybe PlanetWatch didn't get started with that in mind. But I think that their desperation, look, they're saturating them. They're oversaturating their market, and they would never ever implemented or implied, I should say, in their white paper that they would oversaturate as they are doing. The type 4s, if I'm not mistaken, are oversaturated over 500%. I think we're pushing 600% of oversaturation. That's just not heard of in business. So I got blasted, some people saying, well, you got all these devices. One, they were saying, coming down on me for having all the devices, like we're being greedy or something. Look, we we install these in poor people's homes. I'm going to be very blunt, the less fortunate, I guess is the better term nowadays, in their homes, and we help them monitor their air quality, and we give them an income through that. And we install 4 or 5 different types of networks in each home, as long as the network provides that in that area, in that space, such as helium as well. And we have a group of people, a whole bunch of people involved in this. We have nearly 40 people involved doing this. So when you're talking about, I've got 40 awares, well, there's 40 of us, right? So come on. And besides, even if I did have more and I want to do something good with it, that's my prerogative, And those of you, I'm just going to say this, I know that most of you, pretty much all of you that are subscribers are intelligent. And that's why you're subscribed to this channel. You want to hear the truth. I'm not going to BS. I tell you exactly what's going on and what we find. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so to speak. I didn't train to become a financial advisor. But my experience and what we test, we share with you guys. And that does have some value, has some weight, I would think. And we want you guys to make your own decisions. I don't want you to listen to us. I don't want you to listen to the other YouTubers as well. Or I should say listen to them. But don't base your decision off of one of us. Listen to a bunch, but find good YouTubers that actually want to give you the real data. Not like some of them out there that just want to promote and make excuses for companies like PlanetWatch. Or just promoting them because they want to be in bed with them. They want to get free devices, or they want to be the first ones to anything new coming out. They're into for themselves or into to promote their YouTube channel. What do we have here? Not even 2,100 subscribers so far. So we're really climbing slow compared to those other channels that tell you every day where you can make money passively, get involved, here it is, and they hype it up, and they create this hype that actually pushes people into buying before you can actually see the actual tests, right? If you don't buy it now, there's a chance you may not get it later, or if you do get it later, it could be double in price, etc. So there's that fine line you got to weigh out when you're going to jump into these kind of new companies. So back to PlanetWatch. The celebration of a small victory for the size of company that Claudio and PlanetWatch's team project themselves to be is concerning to me. It's good news, but it's concerning news as well. Good news, they got the client. Concerning, they're celebrating such a small victory, which tells me that they're concerned they wouldn't even get that. Now, I haven't talked to Claudio. I haven't read or seen any business plan, or don't know that there is no business plan. All I can base off of what he shares with us and what share with the public. Now, see, if we were shareholders and they were under SEC regulation, they would have to share that with us. Now they don't have to. So by avoiding that SEC regulation, by not sharing that game plan with us, they are outside of ramifications, legal ramifications, where we can come back and say, wait a minute, you promised this. Now here's the bottom line. People are saying that I'm spreading FUD. Understand something, you guys. FUD is something that's not true, that you're gaslighting. You're throwing gas on it, basically, or trying to find other ways to undermine it, right? To where it actually, or undermine the actual company, for example, like PlanetWatch this way, and try to show other areas that people can doubt PlanetWatch in. And that's FUD, in a summary. There's other ways, other things you can put in there in FUD. When you hear the term FUD, that's what it means in the crypto world, or even in business, right? Basically, you're just saying a lot of BS to try to damage the company. And that's what I've been accused of. And I just want to say this, that there's a difference between FUD and the truth. The problem is that so many people out there, and this was shown during the last 2 years, all this lockdown and how easily people just hand over their freedoms. People live in fear because they don't search for themselves. It's funny because we grew during the last 2 years. I didn't fear it. I looked for the opportunities in it. And sadly enough, I thought, wow, we got hit too, because I had another business. And we were hard money lenders and with the company. And we had a criteria. We tried to do a win-win type of hard money lending. When I say hard money lending is because we charge a little bit higher interest rate because we help people in higher risk areas. And obviously, without people having income and the government's telling people they don't have to pay on their loans or their rents, then we had a good chunk of money that we're out trying to collect now, trying to get back. And it's hurt us a lot of money, actually. But that's the truth of it. right? And the truth of the matter was that I didn't call them a hole. We just said, okay, well, that's got issues right now. Let's move on to where we see light and going forward. That was in crypto. So we put more of an emphasis into the crypto area, and here we are, right? Now, truth is really hard for people to accept. You got a lot of people out there bought these awares, bought into PlanetWatch. They don't want to admit that they were wrong, that they didn't catch something. It actually questions their intelligence. Even for me, to go back to the group of people that have invested with us, like I said, there's about 40 of us in total. 10 of us that work it directly, and about 30 others that have come in and to support actually PlanetWatch and Helium, and support the project we're doing to help the less fortunate people, the poor class. Really, and that's to put it blunt, what we're doing. And they're good people. I'm not saying anything about those people. They're good people. So I have to go back to them and say, look, I read this, I studied this, and I did believe in what was being said, and I did believe on what was being said by Claudio. He seemed to come across as if he was trying to be honest and look out for people. So I made my mistake there. And did I do my research? You're talking right, I did my research. I did my research. The problem is that the extensive research that needs to be done is not available to the public because they are not classified under SEC regulation. Now, by far am I not promoting SEC regulation here, but I do get irritated when companies or projects like PlanetWatch want to make us give all of our reporting data as if they are under these regulations, or we're under the regulations and they are outside of it. And that does irritate me, because if we're going to be reported on, we're going to have to pay everything's to be reported under those same guidelines and those laws, then I feel that they also should be held responsible in the same regard, same light. And I don't think that's wrong. It's tit for tat. Now, what's PlanetWatch doing that I don't like? And people don't quite get this. Say, well, you know, they're going to come around. What evidence do you have they're going to come around? What evidence do you guys have? I'm talking to those now who want to come in and try to bash what I'm saying it's spreading FUD. What evidence do you have that I'm not telling you the truth? What experience do you have that supersedes and trumps my experience? And I don't know everything, but you cannot discard my experience, especially in the international playing field that I've had over the last 20 years. More than that, but 20 years international as a CEO. And I took the hits during 2008, and I know the things we tried to focus on. We didn't lie to our investors, but we tried to focus on the small gains when we recovered and try to get people motivated to try to stay on board, because we really thought we could pull it off. We believed in what we were doing, and I'm not saying Claudio doesn't believe in it. I'm not saying he's trying to scam us. What I'm saying is that they're mistreating the infrastructure providers. That's us. If you bought an Aware device, or you bought a Type 4, any Type 4, Atma 2, or Type 3, Type 2, or Type 1 device, you are the infrastructure provider. And you have the right to a compensation, because that's what the promise was in the white paper. And if you don't stand up and ask that right, then they'll abuse that. And right now the attitude is, well, you knew that we could actually, you know, run out in the recycle bin and not have any more tokens in the recycle bin. They know that's not ethical, and that's not right. And I believe Claudio loses sleep at night. I truly do, to say that much for him. Do I think there's a future for PlanetWatch? Sure I do, but they're going to have to change and shift. Now you got another issue. Why did Aware all of a sudden just cut off in like a week's notice, or less than 2 weeks' notice, and we're not going forward with you guys anymore? Why would you do that? Well, if you're in business and you have a brand, a product, and all of a sudden you see a company, you're aligned with that company, and that partner of yours or that other company starts taking hits in the public eye, and you all of a sudden lose confidence in that company, you're going to sever your relationship with that company. So if that company collapses and goes down, you don't go down with it, or you don't give the impression your company goes down with it. I don't have the paperwork in front of me or the evidence, but in business, that would be a practice, and that's very possible that a wearer just said, we're done here because we don't see a future PlanetWatch, or we see PlanetWatch can take a huge hit. I know they're getting a lot of returns. Now, there's nothing you can return your wares if you bought them within 30 days, but just do something. If you're going to return it, make sure you take a picture of it at the UPS store with the actual shipping label on it and get a receipt. We sent back a bunch of them, 18 or 20 of them we sent back. We've only gotten credit for 4 of them, and they're saying that we didn't get them. Well, we show UPS that they have them. So now Aware's kind of playing a little dirty, and I've been in constant correspondence with Aware for the last 2 weeks. I would say probably every 3 days. So that's where I'm giving my impression that they're just trying to sever their ties because it is a nightmare for them as well. You say, well, why'd you send it back for them? Well, it's a business decision. We are going to now, unless something happens between here and the end of next month, end of May, we're going to cash in. We're going to actually request a refund for all of our licenses, type 1, type 2s, type 3s, and type 4s that we purchased. And we will no longer continue to buy anything of the devices of PlanetWatch. All they're doing is selling devices now and licenses. And you cannot continue to pay people if you sell more devices. You're going to oversaturate the markets. And they're already saturated. They're going to continue to oversaturate them. So we are on a complete standby, stand down on PlanetWatch. Now, people say to me, well, you're just trying to create the FUD so you can kind of like, kill them off to get your revenge. Well, why in the fetch would I do something like that? That's just a really stupid remark, to be honest with you. We're 30,000 into this, and there are not very many people out there that have as much or more than we do invested with PlanetWatch. If anybody wants them to succeed, it's us. We're not the onesie, twosie, threesie, foursies. We are deeply in bed with this project. So if anybody wants to succeed, I do. We do here at DeFi IoT. I hope that they do come through. And I think that they can in the areas in which I have stated. And look, the first client that got, the real client that got, the other entertaining in Miami are government entities, as we've been saying. So, in summary, I just want to clarify a few of these things. And excuse for bouncing around here. Driving. Beautiful up here in the mountains, by the way. I just want to clarify these items because, boy, I tell you, I know you guys are intelligent. I know our subscribers are intelligent. But there is a lot of ignorance out there. There really is. People just cannot accept truth. And I think this is why the government's got away with what they got away with for the last 2 years. And they continue to get away with it. And there's more behind the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, too. I'm driving around here seeing American flags with Ukrainian flags. I'm thinking, wow, these people don't get it, do they? They don't really understand what's going on. And I guess it's because we just don't seek out to understand. So please, people, and I shouldn't say that to you. I'm not talking to our subscribers. You guys are those who subscribe are ladies and gentlemen, and it was great because I met somebody the other day that subscribed to our channel, and a very cordial young man. And I think that's a lot of the age group we're addressing. And it was nice meeting him, and a shout out to this young man. I won't mention his name. He knows who he is. It was very cordial and complimentary, and I appreciate that. It was nice meeting some of you that are out there. But we got Vegas coming up. I'm debating whether we go or not. I had a meeting with the team today for SC Prime. That's something different. But I just want to say that, we're hoping that PlanetWatch pulls it out. Like I said, we're deep into this. If anybody wants to pull it out, we do. I'm just trying to tell you guys the truth, what we're experiencing, and what I see from all my experience. And I'm not saying they can't pull it out. I'm not saying we're being lied to. We're not being told the total truth. That's for sure. And we're not being treated ethically. That's for sure. So just be careful in PlanetWatch going forward, and understand if you're going to get involved with this, it's a high risk now, very high risk. And that's how we feel about it. So please leave your comments below, subscribe to the channel. We try to be very real. We try to give the real reality, the real scenario to what's behind the scenes through our experience and through what we know. And we hope it helps you. DeFi IoT, I'll see you in the next video. We hope you enjoyed this segment. of our video with DeFi IoT. Remember, we're not professional advisors. We do this as a business, as a hobby, and we study, we experiment, and we want to share it with you. If you can get some benefit from this, great. What we do is we go out, we purchase with our own money, and we experiment to see what true results are. We want you to be able to share in our experiences so you don't have to lose like we have. If you can win where we've won, fantastic. Remember to do your own research and your own homework. It's very important before you make any decisions. We will see you in our next video.